Hey everybody, this is Dave Robinson. So the reason I'm posting this video, it's 3 weeks today since I posted the video, my previous video about what I saw, which I described at the time as a UFO. Well, in this video I'm not going to describe it as a UFO anymore because UFO implies unidentified flying object, and what I saw was not unidentified. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I know what I saw. There's not a shadow of doubt in my mind what I saw. I saw an alien spacecraft. It's as simple as that. I've got nothing to gain from saying this. I'm not doing this for, video likes or internet likes or anything, that type of thing. I just happened to look up. I spotted this thing. I realised, I realised now what it was. And I just thought, I'll just share it with everybody, basically. There's not a shadow of doubt in my mind what I saw, not even 1%. It's not even a question of like, I've convinced myself or anything. I know what I saw. And the reason I've left it a few weeks is because when I originally posted the video on YouTube and then I shared it on Facebook, there was loads and loads of comments about all sorts of different things, and after a few days I just deleted the whole thing. I thought I'm gonna let it settle down and then I'm going to repost about it to kind of bring it back, because people probably forgotten about it and stuff. And since the day I saw it, the evening I saw it rather, nothing's changed. The details are still absolutely ingrained in my mind. I know what I saw and I'm going to tell you all about it right now. So on the Facebook posts that I was getting, most of the Facebook posts were about the fact that a Chinook helicopter had been spotted apparently the same day over the Wirral, and also a few people were putting comments about there being military planes spotted over the Wirral as well, on the same day. Now, I couldn't find anything about any military planes being spotted, but I did find an article about a Chinook helicopter which had been spotted over the Wirral on the same day. Now, what I saw was not a Chinook helicopter. There's absolutely no way. It wasn't a helicopter of any sort, because what I saw the top of it, the bottom of it, as clear as day. I saw the ends of it, the front and the back of it. This alien spacecraft rather had no rotor blades. It had no wings, it had no rudders, nothing like that. And the other thing, there was no sound. Now, I've driven to the place where roughly I think it was, and as a crow flies, it was probably, I'd say, about 1.5 miles away. I estimated it somewhere between 3/4 of a mile and a mile, but I wasn't kind of taking into account the height, so it was probably about 1.5 miles away. Now, with regards to the height, to put it into perspective, it was about 2 electricity pylons high. That's about the best way I can describe it. Now, it was close enough for me to hear some sort of sound. If that was a Chinook helicopter, I would have heard it. We, on the Wirral, we get several going over the Wirral a year, because they come from RAF Valley in Anglesey, and they must either travel to Liverpool John Lennon Airport, or they're on training exercises, or they're going along the coast to Liverpool, or they're doing a rescue mission. I don't know, but I've seen enough of them over the years to know what they look like and what they sound like. And if you all know what a helicopter sounds like, it has that sort of, the sound of it is kind of, impressions are terrible, but it's kind of like a well, the sound of a Chinook helicopter is completely different. It's a very low sort of, not a hum, but kind of like it sounds kind of like like that. That's how it sounds. And if you type in the sound of a Chinook helicopter on YouTube, they're on there, the videos, and you can hear it. That's what they sound like. It's a kind of it's very, very distinctive. But this thing had no sound anyway. There was no sound from it. It was early evening. There was not really any sound around anyway. And I would have heard it. It was close enough for me to hear it. I've heard helicopters at that distance many times, and it wasn't. I do a gig every week. I'm a musician and I do a gig every week, and there's a flight path to John Lennon Airport over the airport, and we see planes going over, several of them every hour. So it was this alien spacecraft. It was going way too slow to be a plane, because it would have just fell out the sky. It definitely not any sort of helicopter, because it had no rotor blades or rudders or wings or wheels or anything, and it definitely wasn't a plane, like I said, because it would have just fell out the sky at the speed it was going. It definitely wasn't a drone, because it was just far too big. And with regards to the size of it, I've sort of guesstimated it to be at around, I think, maybe 2 double-decker buses long, maybe, and about the height of maybe 2 single-decker buses long, and about the height of a double-decker bus, if that makes some sort of sense. But I saw this thing so clearly as well, that I saw detail on the side of it. I've done a drawing which I'll put up in a few minutes. My artwork's not very good or anything, but it's quite a fair representation of what I actually saw. I'll put that up in a few minutes time. Now, when I saw the alien spacecraft, I have a bit of trouble sleeping, but I was, that night, funny enough, the night before, I'd actually had a really good night's sleep, and I'd eaten, so I didn't have low blood sugar. I don't drink, I'm a teetotal. And the other thing is, I actually I wear glasses, so I'm not wearing my glasses at the minute, just to prove a point. If I'm looking up to where roughly the height and distance where it was, I can see it perfectly fine right now. If I put my glasses on, I can, it's even better, basically. So I know exactly what I saw. There was not a shadow of doubt in my mind whatsoever. And the other thing is, which I'll explain to you now, my friend Becky, who was sitting in the car, I was talking to her. When I recalled it to her, I think it was about 4 or 5 days later, I met up with her, and what I told her how it happened, she remembered it the same way. So I'm gonna tell you how it happened, and I'll count it on my fingers at the same time, so you can roughly guess how many seconds it was. So she was sitting in a car, I was standing on the pavement. There was a tree in front of her, so she couldn't see into the sky where I could. And there was 2 trees, and there was a gap between the trees. Now the gap, the 2 trees are about, say, 30 yards apart. So it's hard to explain, but the gap from where I was standing looked about maybe 12 feet, because they were on an angle. It was a lot further, if you see what I mean. So I was looking through that. I looked through the gap and saw the alien spacecraft, like I say, about a mile and a half, 2 electricity pylons high in the air. And this is how it happened. So I'll count it on my hands so you can see what happened. The reason I'm doing this demonstration is because loads of comments were about, why didn't you take a photograph? It just happened too fast for me to take a photograph. It's as simple as that. This is how it happened. So my friend Becky was sitting in the car. She said something that made me laugh. I can't remember what it was. And as I laughed, I turned around. I just happened to look up into the sky, and I saw the nose of this thing coming out of the clouds. I kind of half realised what I was looking at. I wasn't too sure. It started to go back into the clouds already, and that was about it. It was probably maybe 9-10 seconds. So I'll do it again. So I looked up, it started coming out of the clouds. By the time it come out of the clouds, I saw the whole thing end to end. It started going back in, and then it disappeared into the clouds, and that was about it. It was probably about 10 seconds. If I'd have got my phone out, I would have missed it. But I did get my phone out, because I thought that it was going to the right and the clouds were going to the left. So I thought, well, it's got to come out the other side of the tree, and it didn't. So I stand there with my phone. So basically, I said to my friend, look, I'm going to have to go. I said, did you see that? Did you see that? And she was like, she didn't see it. We spoke for maybe 10 seconds, and she drove off, and I went into the house, ran upstairs, bedroom window. I was looking through, see if I could see anything where it would have come out and stuff, and it just wasn't there. So the only place it could have gone, as far as I'm concerned, is up. There was just nowhere else it could have gone. The cloud was quite low that day, and I saw it right at the bottom of the cloud, and when it came out the cloud, I saw the nose come out. I saw the entire ship for probably a second, maybe a second and a half, if that, you know. I did see the whole thing. I saw the top, the bottom, the ends of it. It was so clear to me. I've never seen anything so clearly in my life. It was there, and I know what it was. It had no rotor blades, it had no wheels, it had no wings, it had no rudders, it had nothing. And when I put the photo up, I'll describe it to you in a sec. But there's one thing I want to show you. I've got this with me, which I'll show you now. It's very technical. If you've ever watched the UFO documentary on the television or the internet or whatever, a lot of encounters always describe a cigar-shaped UFO, and that is quite common. Now I'll show you this, because people were kind of I was trying to describe it to people, and with the drawing as well, this will all make sense. So what I've got here is a coffee cup lid from McDonald's. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show it you like that. Okay, now if you look at that side on, and that was in the sky, that is kind of cigar shaped. I suppose it's lengthways anyway, isn't it? And that's what you'd be looking at as it, if it was, you know, something from another world flying through the sky. It's kind of cigar shaped ish. Now if this alien spacecraft in my hand here was to tilt, that's what you'd see. Okay, so if you're looking at it from wherever you're looking at it and you see that, if the thing was to tilt or bank, that's what you'd see. Okay, now what I saw, it's hard to explain this, but there was the definition on it. Basically, I don't think it was round. It wasn't round, because as it came out the cloud, it kind of started to almost turn very briefly. So as it came out the cloud, it just started to go sort of straight back in, but it was turning. So I'm not sure if this is making sense, but what I saw, if it had have tilted like that, I don't think it would have been a disc shape. It was more elongated. So if you can imagine this, this is one of those sponges used on a window. So this isn't disc shaped, this is square. If you can imagine seeing that coming out of the clouds and then sort of turn, sorry, I'm not doing a very good demonstration here, coming out of the clouds and then turning, it was kind of, I'm probably not really explaining myself very well, but I could tell that it wasn't disc shaped. It was more, it was flat on the sides, if you see what I mean. Because as it was turning, like I said, it was, you could see it actually turning, sort of thing. I'm not sure if this is making too much sense, but what I'm trying to put across is that I don't think it was disc shaped. So if it had a tilted, I would have saw something more like just oblong, let's say, let's put it like that. So that's my demonstration. So I'm going to put the picture of what I saw, the drawing of what I saw, onto the screen now. Okay, so that is what I saw. It is flat on the top, flat on the bottom, no wheels, no rudders, no wings, more importantly no rotor blades. You can see the ends of it are kind of, I wouldn't say they're rounded off, and I wouldn't say they're, you know, sort of right angles or whatever the word is. They're kind of almost, there's a slightly rounded off type thing. And on the sides of it, you can see it's kind of, there was definite lines down the side of it, and I'd say maybe they are possibly windows of some sort. The colouring was kind of like a sort of brown, black, grey kind of colour. It was a bit of an odd colour, but that's what I saw. So basically, when I went in the house, I had a look through the windows upstairs, and when I waited a few minutes and I didn't see the alien spacecraft anywhere, so I basically wrote that, drew a picture of it, and there you have it. That's kind of, well, that is what I saw. That's not kind of, that's what I saw. So just to finish off this video, I'll just take that off the screen. So just to finish off this video, I can only assume that, now that this is pretty far out statement, but if there was a Chinook helicopter spotted over the Wirral, I mean, who's to say that they didn't know that there was an unidentified flying object around, and maybe the military were trying to track it or something, because apparently someone said that they saw a couple of military planes as well. And there was something in a local paper about UFO activity over Liverpool recently as well, or something. So put all this together, you know, maybe the military knew about it and they were looking for it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but what I know is what I saw was an alien spacecraft. There's not even 1% doubt in my mind what I saw. That, you know, that is exactly what I saw. And if you believe me or not, to me, it just doesn't matter. I saw a UFO, an alien spacecraft, when I was 16, and this is the second one I've now seen. And there's a couple of interesting points as well. If you've made it this far in the video, there's a couple of interesting points as well I want to point out. Now the first thing is, when I posted the original video 3 weeks ago, I put on the video, the time was 6:15. It was 6:15. And this is something that I can't explain. About an hour later, my friend Becky texted me, because I was texting her, and she texted me back and she said, you know, you've put the wrong time on the video. She said, you know, it was 7:15. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And when I look back, I had put on the video, it was 6:15. Now I knew it wasn't 6:15 because she came and met me at 6 o'clock, and I knew that, and I knew it wasn't 6:15, and I knew she'd been there about an hour or over an hour, and I knew it was 7:15. What I do recall, I think, and this is going to sound a bit bizarre, but when I was typing the description in the YouTube video, I looked at my phone for the time. My phone said 6:15. And I've got absolutely no proof of this at all. But when I met up with Becky, and there was a few of us there, I was explaining to them. And even Becky said, oh God, I wish I'd have looked at my phone at the same time. So she didn't, and there's no proof of anything. But I thought, I looked at this, I know I looked at my phone and it said 6:15. I half remember doing it, but that could be a trick of the mind. But to me, I just can't help thinking that my phone had somehow lost an hour. And then when she told me, I looked at the time on my phone and it was back to the normal time. By this time it was about 9 o'clock at night or something, or 8, 9 o'clock at night, whatever it was. But I remember looking at my phone for the time, and I wrote on the YouTube video description that I saw it at 6:15, but I didn't. I saw it at 7:15. So how my phone had gone back an hour, and even if it had, I've got no idea. So that's it. If you've made it this far in the video and you've listened to everything I've got to say, thank you very much. And I'm presuming if you have listened this far, then you're more than likely a UFO enthusiast. So thank you for listening to my story. I really do appreciate it. I'm not saying any of this to get likes or, you know, any of that type of nonsense. I'm doing it because I just wanted to share with you the story of what I saw, and above all else, it was just unbelievable. It was just unbelievable that I'd seen an alien spacecraft. It's the second one I've seen in my life, but you know, I got such a good look at this one, better than the one I saw when I was 16, and I absolutely 100,000,000% know what I saw. So if there's any non-believers out there, I'm just going to leave you on this thought. I've read over the years that scientists believe that there are more planets in the universe than there are grains of sand on the earth. So if anybody thinks that we're alone in the universe, you're wrong. There's no way we're alone in the universe, and again, there's not a shadow of doubt in my mind. I've always believed that anyway, my entire life. You know, and this is just, it's not even a question of confirming it, because I've always known that anyway, but this has just shown me that they are here, and maybe they're looking out for us, or they've just come down to, you know, say hey or whatever. I don't know what it was doing there, but I really hope that they come back and maybe say hello one day. I might sound like a completely crazy person, but I don't mind. So yeah, if you want to make a comment, make a comment. Either way, thanks for listening, and yeah, take care everybody.